Hey guys, Jake here with Ketch Products, and today we're working on a platform specific part. It's going to be for the PWR129. It is going to be the trap door, which removes the pod from the center here, and it's going to be utilizing the front hinge here to get your transducer in up and out of the way, especially when you're going in through shallow water or if you're beaching or beach launching your kayak. So let's go ahead and get into the installation on this. We're removing that, and then the only part that's going to be reused from the pod is the one up front here. You're going to remove the two bolts there, and you're going to keep the hardware and reuse it on our plate. So for the first thing that you're going to see when you take it out of the package is you're going to have the main plate, and the main plate has the Dobro twister knob, and this is what is going to lock down the door itself. So once you remove that, you're going to see it comes right up, and there you go, it's on the hinge. So this is your hinge system for opening and closing it. And then when you want to lock it down, you just go ahead and add that Dobro twister knob. I'm going to go ahead and install the previous part that was taken off the pod onto the plate. And let's go ahead and do that. We've got the part for the pod installed on there, and we're keeping it loose right now because we're going to have to figure out where exactly this part wants to sit on the trap door. So let's go ahead and put this in the boat here, and then we'll figure out where this needs to sit. Right now that we're dropping it in, we're going to go off the two brass inserts where you're going to add your 5/8 inch button heads here. So we got the beginning part of this install where you got the main plate locked down. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the Dobro twister knob again here. Keep that off to the side where you know where it's at. And we're going to figure out where this wants to lock in. So as you can see, as I'm rising the plate, you figure out in the back here that this thing wants to clip in right about there. So now that's what it looks like when it's fully upward. So we're going to go ahead and lock these down into place while it's locked into the front clip here.
Standard and metric Allen wrench set, but Maria, you're not allowed to touch this. You are not allowed to touch it. Don't even look at it.
So we're going to go ahead and add the U's to the base plate. This is the plate that your transducer is going to be hooking up to. And as you can see on one side, you've got the countersunk holes. So let's go ahead and install the screws on the countersunk holes. So for the transducer side here, you're going to want to use the bottom of the U to connect to the transducer plate. And in this case, you don't want to crank down and lock everything in place. You want a little bit of wiggle room to really figure out where everything wants to seat. So as you can see, it's still loose. Now let's go ahead and get the other one installed. All right, now that we've got both the U's installed, now you're going to go ahead and lock these down. Okay. And now let's go ahead and connect it to the plate itself. And you're going to want the rounded edge here towards the stern. So you got your 4 bolts on the top here locked down, and your transducer with the U's are all connected here. The next step is going to be adding the transducer to the mount here. So let's go ahead and fish the wires through and get it mocked up. So let's go ahead and fish the plug through the bottom of the hole here so the transducer guides itself into there. So in this case, we're going to be using this Lowrance transducer. It's one of the longer transducer units, so we wanted to show you, the maximum size of what you can actually fit on this plate over here. So as I fish the wire through a little more, you'll see here that this plate on the side here has no holes, and the transducer in this case I believe has, I think, 12 holes. You don't have to use all 12 holes. You can just use as many as you feel that really locks down the transducer unit, and you got to see where they line up on here because there's possibility of interference with the other hardware on the plate itself. So when I mock it up here, the first thing I'm noticing is that the farthest you can have it on this plate is it can go up to the nose. Anything further past the nose, you're going to run into issues down here with interference of hitting the actual plate itself. So now that I see that this is probably the farthest I want, by my judgment, I'm probably going to go with these 2 holes up here, even though they're kind of close, but I'll go with the holes in the center here to lock this transducer down into place. So let's go ahead and drill these holes out real quick and add the hardware to lock the deucer to the plate. So in this case, since we went with this deucer, we don't provide that hardware, so it's up to the customer to figure out what hardware will work best for them. In this case, we're using some 832 with the Phillips heads on the top here and some nylon lock nuts and some washers. So let's go ahead and mount the transducer up. So now we've got the transducer locked down. We're going to go ahead and unhook this and drop it down. And as you guys can see, like the difference with the pods is, you know, the transducer may have not been sitting as low as you'd like, where this is going to drop it below the boat or sit at the perfect height, so your transducer will get all of its readings correctly, especially side scan. So this is what it looks like when it's dropped down. So you drop it down like that, lock it right here, and now it's in place and ready to go. So now that you've got everything added to your pod delete here, the last thing that we've included in your package is you're going to have this wire pass-through, and there's going to be different attachments that you can choose for depending on how thick the wire is. So in this case, we went with this wire pass-through, and I'm going to show you guys how we went forward with installing this onto the pod delete. Now we've got the main component down the wire, and for the one that we've chosen out of the grouping here, what I did was slit it a little bit so it'll go directly around the wire. And you're going to want to do this closer to the ending here. So that's on that side. And then in the box, or on the packaging, you'll see you'll use the other half of the half moon. And snap these into place. Once those are snapped into place, you'll clock it to match the holes, and there's going to be small 632 screws that are going to be provided in the kit. So there you guys have it. That's the full installation and with the transducer mounted and the wire pass-through. Now we're going to leave it up to you guys to figure out what you want to do about cable management. Bonafide does the nice thing of adding this sacrificial plate here, so you'll be able to figure that out passing your wires through there. So the trap door is going to put your deucer in the right spot, and it's going to give you a little more space on the deck here. Go ahead and get out on the water, guys, and tell us how it is.